Hey, morning, Your Honor. Can you hear me out here at the jail?
Good morning. I can hear you, Mr. Bond.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you all?
That's what I'm talking. We're having a fiesta.
Oh,
Happiest jail on the planet.
Mr. Poston, you ain't wrong, sir. Are you ready to get started, Your Honor?
I am.
Clayton, it'll be.
Right, sir.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Marcus Clayton.
Mr. Clayton, you are here today on city court charges involving interfering with a judicial proceeding. This is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is a warrant out of city court. It looks like you also have something else going on holding you there at the jail. Do you have other felony matters pending right now, sir?
Mr. Clayton, do you know if you have anything?
Mr. Clayton? Mr. Clayton?
Do you want to talk to me? Sure. Or no?
Mr. Clayton? So this is the time for your initial appearance where we need to talk about your conditions of release on your city court case. You're not going to get released today because you have other things going on that are holding you in custody. If you want to go forward with this hearing right now, we can get this taken care of. But if you don't want to cooperate, then you're going to get reset again for tonight. What would you like to do? Do you want to talk to me and cooperate?
Do you need to ask me any questions, sir?
Who are you?
I'm an attorney at the public defender's office.
So I don't know him.
Right, you don't know him. He's an attorney with the public defender's office. If you have
I'm
questions,
speaking to him. I don't know you.
No, you don't know. I'm an attorney at the public defender's. We've not met before this, so that's true.
Yeah, I'm unaware of this charge
okay.
completely. I
Okay.
have no idea what it is.
Well, it looks like it's a warrant that was issued for you on this charge. And it stems back from March of this year.
Well, I wasn't taken here on a warrant, and I was told that that matter was dismissed.
Okay, well, it doesn't look like it's been dismissed yet. So, as I've said, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Today, I'm going to impose a $250 cash bond on this matter. We're going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. Do you know Eva?
What's the charge?
Do you know Eva Graham? Do you know Miss Graham, Mr. Clayton?
He's an attorney in the city public defender's office.
And who are you? And why are you here?
Are you asking me or her?
Yeah, I'm wondering why this guy's here and he hasn't spoken to me prior to the hearing.
Because he represents people on felony cases. We don't have attorneys appearing regularly for city court cases. So Ms. Graham was your attorney previously on this matter. I'm appointing the city public defender again, so she will be able to talk with you. But we do have an attorney seated there with you, even though you haven't met him, in case you do have questions that you want to ask.
Computer defense attorney.
I'm a defense lawyer and
So where's we and what is we? Who's we?
Mr. Clayton. So we're gonna appoint the public defender's office
So I'm not we, I'm not. So I'm not we.
and interfering with a judicial proceeding. So again, $250 cash bond. We're gonna set your hearing for June 16th at 1:45. That's gonna be in front of Judge Blue at Tucson City Court. You do have to appear at that date and time or a warrant could issue for your arrest. Jail, what else do you have Mr. Clayton on?
He's being held on a probation violation, Your Honor.
Okay, on a felony probation violation?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. You're all done, Mr. Clayton.
Come on, Clayton.
I think you want to take your paperwork here or?
All right.
Do you want to bring it for him or?
Dale. Apellido. ¿Cuál es su apellido? ¿Cuál es su apellido? Su apellido. ¿Eh?
Let's go. Oh yeah, she's looking for me. Because when they dropped them off, they didn't write the cell phones off cars.
This one's Steve Dyer.
They didn't write the.
Yeah, I can.
Or the.
He doesn't. ¿Cuál es tu apellido? ¿Eh?
That was amazing. Fine fishing stuff.
Please.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Good morning, Francisco Esquer Sotelo.
Mr. Esquer Sotelo, you are here today on a misdemeanor charge of assault. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Looks like you do have another felony matter that you're being held on. Is that what's going on with you, sir?
It's a DOI.
Okay, so you're in custody for a DUI? All right, so this is obviously a separate matter. Looks like it occurred at the Pima County Jail. I am on this matter going to release you. So if you get out on your DUI, you're going to be released on this matter. You are not allowed to have any contact with the victim of this assault. Don't go anywhere near where he is, even if you're both still in the jail. Do you understand your conditions of release on this?
Yes, Your Honor.
So your next court date at Justice Court is going to be June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. That is going to be your hearing here. It'll be your arraignment on this charge at Justice Court. If you're still in custody, the jail will make sure that they either transport you or have you appear via video for the jury. You're all done on this case for today. And do we have our interpreter ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Aquí se ve.
Gracias.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Buenos días, señor. Dígame su nombre.
Fernando Díaz Ruiz.
Es Fernando Díaz Ruiz.
Ajá.
You are here this
Huh?
You are here this morning for a charge of promoting prison contraband. That is a felony offense.
Está aquí el día de hoy, esta mañana, porque estaba promoviendo contrabando en la prisión, el cual es una felonía.
This is the time for your initial appearance where we're going to talk about conditions of release for this charge.
Esta es la hora para su comparecencia inicial, en la cual vamos a hablar con sus condiciones de libertad con respecto a este cargo.
You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Usted tiene el derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que usted diga se puede y se usará en su contra.
You do have the right to an attorney on this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today.
Usted tiene el derecho a tener a un abogado. Voy a nombrar a la oficina del defensor público para que lo defienda a usted. El día de hoy tiene un abogado sentado enseguida de usted que lo está representando únicamente para la audiencia del día de hoy.
I have had an opportunity to review some information by pretrial services. They prepared a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and the circumstances of this offense.
He tenido la oportunidad de revisar alguna información con respecto a este delito. Recibí información de la agencia previos al juicio, los cuales prepararon un informe para el juez, el cual me da información con respecto a las circunstancias que tienen que ver con este incidente.
This report also tells me that you do have a hold in place by the Bureau of Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
También esta información, este reporte, me indica que usted tiene una orden de detención del Departamento de Inmigración y Control de Aduanas.
It looks like you're also in custody on another Pima County Superior Court case.
Y parece que usted también está detenido por otro cargo del condado de Pima, de un caso del Tribunal Superior.
I have had a chance to review the state's recommendation on this case.
He tenido la oportunidad de revisar la recomendación de la Fiscalía con respecto a este caso.
Considering all the circumstances, I am inclined to impose a $7,500 cash or secured bond with release to pretrial if all the other matters get resolved.
Y tomando en cuenta todas las circunstancias, estoy considerando que poner una fianza de $7,500 en efectiva o garantizada, y si usted paga esa fianza y se resuelven todos los otros cargos y sale bajo libertad, entonces va a estar bajo la supervisión de la agencia previos al juicio.
Does the state need to be heard further?
Le pregunta a la
No,
Fiscalía si tiene algo más que agregar. La Fiscalía responde que no, su señoría.
Perdón. ¿Es 2,500?
I'm sorry, did you say 2,500?
No, 7,500.
No, 7,500.
Mr. Bond, did you want to be heard on condition?
Señor Bond, ¿quiere decir algo con respecto a las condiciones de libertad?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I'd actually like to be heard as to probable cause first.
Sí, su señoría, gracias. Me gustaría primero que me escuchara con respecto a motivo justificante.
The interim complaint alleges that an item of apparent contraband was found within the jail cell that Mr. Diaz-Ruiz was assigned to.
La queja interina ahí alega que encontraron un artículo de contrabando cerca de la celda en la cual estaba asignada al señor Díaz-Ruiz.
The interim complaint refers to at least one additional bunkmate or cellmate in that cell.
Esta queja interina también se refiere a una persona más adicional, un compañero que está compartiendo la celda, otro preso que está detenido compartiendo la misma celda.
And the interim complaint does not include any self-incriminatory statements or statements from others linking the contraband to Mr. Diaz-Ruiz.
Y la queja interina no incluye ninguna declaración que haya hecho el mismo señor Díaz Ruiz o ninguna otra declaración al cual incrimina al señor Díaz Ruiz.
The interim complaint merely reflects mere presence near where contraband was found, does not support even probable cause for the charge of promoting prison contraband.
Entonces, la queja interina únicamente se refiere o indica que encontraron este contrabando, pero no es suficiente para llegar al grado de motivo justificante que me amerite que lo acusen de un cargo de prisión, de contrabando en la prisión.
That's all.
Eso es todo.
So I disagree with you, Mr. Bond. I do believe that there is probable cause, given where the item was found within the cell that Mr. Diaz-Reese occupies.
Bueno, señor Pan, yo no estoy en desacuerdo con usted. Yo considero que sí existe motivo justificante por el lugar donde se encontró este contrabando, que es dentro de la celda, la cual ocupaba el señor Díaz-Reese.
And while I do understand that a defense of mere presence is something that Mr. Diaz-Reese can raise, I do believe there's enough for probable cause at this point.
Y aunque considero que si el simplemente de que se encuentre presente, esa es una defensa probable que puede usar el señor Díaz-Reese, yo considero en este momento que sí existe motivo justificante.
Did you want to be heard on conditions?
¿Quiere
Yes.
que tiene que decir alguna información o su opinión con respecto a las condiciones de libertad? Sí.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. In light of the other existing holds, I would just ask for a nominal bond in this matter.
Sí, su señoría, gracias. Y ahora, como ya tomamos en cuenta que existe otra orden de retención, entonces estoy solicitando que le dé una fianza, pero más reducida, mínima. No menor.
I am going to impose a $7,500 cash or secured bond on this case.
Voy a imponer una fianza de $7,500 en efectivo o garantizada en este caso.
Because of the procedural posture of this case, it does have to be a consecutive bond to any bond on his pending felony matter.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can you please repeat that information for the interpreter? Got distracted for a second.
Sure. This $7,500 bond is going to be consecutive to the bond in the current felony case.
Esta fianza de $7,500 va a ser consecutiva a la otra fianza de felonía que tiene.
And that's because this case is in a different procedural posture than the current pending Superior Court case.
Ya que este caso se encuentra en una posición o postura diferente o distinta que el caso que tiene pendiente ahorita en el Tribunal Superior.
If you do post that bond and your other matters are resolved,
Si usted paga esa fianza y se resuelven sus otros casos,
then you'll be released to pretrial services.
entonces lo van a dejar en libertad con la agencia previos al juicio.
You will have to report to that agency as directed.
Tiene que reportarse con esa agencia como ellos se lo ordenen.
Participate in any monitoring or treatment they may direct.
Tiene que participar en cualquier monitoreo o tratamiento que ellos ordenen.
You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs.
No puede poseer ni consumir ninguna bebida alcohólica ni ninguna droga.
And you're not allowed to have any firearms while this case is going on.
Y tampoco se le permite que usted tenga ningún tipo de armas mientras este caso esté pendiente.
Your next hearing is a preliminary hearing on June 23rd at 1:30.
Su próxima audiencia es una audiencia preliminar el 23 de junio a la 1:30.
That hearing may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future court dates.
Esa audiencia puede que suceda o puede que no suceda, pero usted es responsable de estar presente en todas las audiencias que se fijen en el futuro.
If you remain in custody, the jail will make sure that you're transported to your hearings.
Si se queda detenido, el personal de la cárcel se asegurará que a usted lo transporten a todas sus audiencias.
that if you post bond and get released, it is your responsibility to appear.
Pero si usted paga la fianza y sale en libertad, es su responsabilidad comparecer.
If you fail to appear, a warrant could be issued for your arrest.
Si usted no comparece, entonces se puede emitir una orden por su arresto.
Do you understand the conditions of release that I've imposed here today on your case?
¿Entiende usted las condiciones de libertad que he dictaminado en su caso?
Ajá.
Ajá.
And do you understand the consequences for failing to appear?
¿Y usted entiende las consecuencias si no se presenta en corte?
Que no entiendo bien español, hablo otro dialecto que no entiendo bien.
I don't understand Spanish very well. I speak a different dialect.
Si me puede repetir, por favor.
You could please repeat?
So if you don't show up for your court dates, Mr. Diaz-Reese, the court could issue a warrant for your arrest.
Si usted no se presenta en la corte, señor Díaz-Ruiz, entonces pueden emitir una orden por su arresto.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you now understand the consequences if you don't show up for court?
Ahora ya entiende las consecuencias si no se presenta en la corte.
Sí, entiendo. Sí, voy a presentar en la corte.
Yes, I understand. I'm going to show up to court. I'm going to show up to court.
All right. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Diaz-Reese? Anything else you had difficulty understanding here today?
Bien, señor Ruiz, ¿tiene alguna otra pregunta? ¿Alguna otra cosa que le haya sido difícil para usted entender?
Por el momento todo bien.
For the moment, everything's fine.
All right. You're all done for today, sir.
Muy bien, señor, ya terminamos con su caso el día de hoy.
Okay, muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. I think that was our only Spanish speaker. Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a good day.
Thank you, interpreter. I'm sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Interpreter is disconnecting. Have a good day.
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Stephen Cohen.
Mr. Cohen, you were here today on a charge of impersonating a peace officer. It is a felony offense, a class 6. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. Today, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you do have an attorney seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. We're here to discuss your conditions of release on this case. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. It's a report they prepare for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. That report also tells me that you're being held by probation for a probation violation in a 2022 Superior Court case. So regardless of what I do here today with your conditions, you're not going to be released until that matter is resolved. Do you understand that, Mr. Cohen?
I do.
All right. In light of the circumstances, I am inclined to impose a $2,500 cash or secured bond on this case. I do note that the state asked for a $10,000 bond. Did you want to be heard further, Mr. Poston?
No, Judge.
Mr. Bond?
Your Honor, again, I have to raise an issue regarding probable cause. The interim complaint does not contain any real evidence of how Mr. Cohen allegedly impersonated a sergeant. It merely makes a single conclusory statement that a voicemail impersonating to be a sergeant occurred. And I would argue it's lacking specific factual support for that conclusory statement.
When I look at the entire interim, it does appear that they listened to two separate messages, determined both of them, at least at this point, were made by Mr. Cohen. One of them as himself, the other was impersonating a sergeant with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. And it was based on that, my understanding from the interim, that the Class 6 felony was charged. So I do find that there is probable cause. Did you want to be heard on conditions?
Your Honor, Mr. Cohen seems to have no prior felony history, but for the matter he's on probation for. I would just ask for a very nominal bond be put in place on top of the probation hold.
So I am going to impose a $2,500 cash or secured bond. Mr. Cohen, if you post that bond and your probation matter gets resolved, then you'll be released to pretrial services. You do have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct, commit no acts of domestic violence. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim in this case. Don't go anywhere near where she is living or working. You're also under that order while you remain in custody at the Pima County Jail. You are not allowed to have any contact. You'll be given access to phones, tablets, other forms of communication, and you're not allowed to have any contact with her. Do you understand those conditions of release, Mr. Cohen?
I don't even actually know who the alleged victim is, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, the person that you called would be the victim, and that's who I'm asking you not to contact. And again, it's the person you allegedly called. You can talk with your attorney about that.
They seem to claim left a voicemail for monitors. That's really
I understand, Your Honor.
And your next hearing is going to be June 23rd at 1:30. That will be for this case, and that's a preliminary hearing. That hearing may or may not occur, but you're responsible for showing up at all future hearings. And if you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear, Mr. Cohen?
Yes, I do.
Right. And again, if you're in custody still, the jail will make sure to get you to your next hearing. But if you postpone and get released, you do need to stay in contact with your attorney so that you know when your court dates are. You're all done for today.
And Your Honor, was the release condition pretrial if the bond is posted or just the bond?
No, it's the bond and release to pretrial. That's why I had the other conditions. And if I didn't articulate those, my apologies. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You can't have any firearms, commit no acts of domestic violence, don't have any contact with the victim, whoever the alleged phone call was made to, and stay in contact with pretrial as directed. So those are all the conditions.
Meaning if someone bought
Is this, I'm confused. The timing is this while I'm in jail, after I'm out of jail.
those release conditions exist all through your case until the judge tells you those release conditions go away. This is what holds you in jail. If someone posts that bond, you will be out of jail.
And then what is this?
This is our court date for the preliminary hearing coming up on the 23rd of June, and an attorney from my office will be in touch with you before that. This is what's going to be going on.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I get a copy of
No,
this?
I don't have one to give you, so your attorney will bring that out to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
You're all done, Mr.
Thank
Cohen.
You're all done?
Morning, sir. Tell me your name.
Hello, my name is Masao Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, you're here today for a review hearing on a matter out of Nogales Justice Court. Looks like you have a $100 cash or secured bond for that. It looks like you also have something else still going on here in Pima County. What's the status of your case in Pima County right now?
I believe I have court on June 8th. July 8th.
Okay.
So it's a case management hearing.
Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to set another review hearing, just like we're doing here today, for July 14th at 9. So until your Pima County case is resolved, they're not going to release you for this warrant or call Nogales and let them know that they can come pick you up if you can't post that $100 bond for that warrant. So for every time that you're held here, we're just going to have a review hearing on that Nogales case to make sure we're keeping track of that matter. So that's why you're here today. And hopefully by July 8th, you'll have some more information on your felony case. But if you're still in custody, you'll do this again July 14th, and we'll set it out until your case here in Pima County gets resolved. Do you understand, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all done for today, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
You have a nice day.
David Straub?
Mr. Straub, you are here today for a review hearing on a case out of Cochise County Superior Court. Looks like there's a $10,000 cash or secured bond on that. You've got some other matters obviously going on here in Pima County. What's your next court date for that matter?
I believe it is July 22nd, I believe.
Okay.
So,
Yes, yes. Yeah.
For the July 22nd date, since we know he's still going to be in custody.
What is this for? 'Cause I'm not quite sure what this is for. Because
I'm sorry. Hey, hang on, Mr. Straub. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Mr. Straub,
I don't know what it said.
she may explain.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
so this has nothing to do with your current case that you have going on here in Pima County. This is a warrant out of Cochise County Superior Court. And that warrant is for a narcotic drug violation. So it looks like you've got drug charges pending, and they issued a warrant for you on this case. There's a $10,000 cash or secured bond that is in place on that matter, and that's gonna stay in effect. You don't want to lose track of the Cochise County case. Until you finish your matter here in Pima County, they're not going to release you or tell Cochise County that they can come. So we're going to continue to have review hearings like this every month so that we can keep track of what's going on. And then once your case here is resolved, Cochise County will be told they can either come get you or you would have the ability to post that $10,000 cash or secured bond. So we just want to make sure we're keeping track of this case. So in light of your hearing on the 22nd, I'm going to set your next review hearing date for July 28th at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you'll do just what you're doing here again on July 28th. We'll get an update on your felony case. If your matter here is resolved, the jail will let Cochise County know that they either need to come get you or you'd have the opportunity to post that bond depending upon what happens in your felony case. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question if you can answer it for me.
I can
When
try.
is this charge from?
Cochise County base?
Yes, is it from October 8th, I believe?
Let me look. I don't know if that information is going to be on the warrant, but let me look.
So this is for Pima County, or this is for the Cochise matter?
Exactly. The hearing here in Pima County. Cochise County right now, but it's for the Cochise County case.
And I don't know if this is the warrant date or the offense date. Looking at it, April 7th of 2025. And again, I don't know if that was the the only thing that I have, sir, is a very brief printout of what the warrant is. I don't have the rest of the information. That's all I'm looking at today. So I don't have, like, for example, a copy of the indictment or any of the police reports on the case, but it does give me a date of April 7th of 2025. That's the only thing I can tell you. All right?
That just made me date institution.
The reason, yes, ma'am. The
So-
reason I'm asking-
So, sir, here's the thing. You're going to have an attorney in Cochise County that's going to represent you, that you're going to be able to talk to about all of this stuff. You can certainly ask Mr. Bond, but he's not going to be your attorney because he's a Pima County attorney here. So he's here to represent you for purposes and answer whatever questions you have. But if you want to challenge whatever it is that's going on in Cochise County, you'll be able to do that once you have that case going on, or if you have an attorney that you want to contact on that matter. Okay?
This judge here.
Oh, the functions, good functions. All right, so let me show if I can make it clear. The reason I'm.
Hi, tell me your name.
Lacey Jolie Wadsworth.
Ms. Wadsworth, you were here today for a review hearing. And this looks like it is a matter out of Nogales Justice Court. Looks like it's a forgery. And you also have something still going on here in Pima County. What's your next court date for Pima County?
It's already been resolved. I got 4 years probation and I got sentenced on the 4th.
The 4th of June?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also have a bed ready to go for rehab. And they're just waiting to see what happens here. They're willing to come to get me.
Okay, so that'll be the next thing, is that Cochise County, now that you're done, our jail here should contact Cochise County and let them know that your matter here is resolved. There's a $2,500 cash or secured bond that's already in place for the Cochise County matter. That's going to remain. And then Cochise County will have the option of coming to pick you up, or they don't, and then you get released on the Cochise County case. But
Don't they usually have like 10 days?
I don't know how long the jail is going to give them to come get you. Did you get any jail time in
Yeah,
addition to?
Yeah, I had 154 days served on for the case here, yes.
I think what the judge means is when your judge did sentence you, did they say, and I'm gonna have you stay in jail up to 60 additional days? 45 days.
45 days, yeah.
And was the,
Until a bed, 45 days to a bed.
okay,
But
that's,
45 days to a bed.
that was going to be my next question, is you can be released early if there's bed space available for you. Is that the case?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. And I already have one available and they're willing to come get me for Vita Maria.
Okay, so I don't know who your attorney was for that probation matter, but you may want to contact them. Did they know that you have this Nogales hold? Does your probation officer know?
Yeah, they know that I had this, and then I was told after that the matter was done June 4th, they had 10 days to come get me.
Okay, well.
And then today's the 9th day.
Right. So what I'm going to do for this case today, because we're not here to talk about your new case, I'm just trying to get future dates. We're going to set another review hearing on this case for July 14th at 9. Hopefully by then you'll be done with whatever is going on in Cochise County, but we want to keep track of this case just in case.
So
if you,
if the bed comes open, I can't leave.
you're gonna, if Cochise County or Nogales does not come pick you up, then you should be fine being released to the bed space, because
But I have to wait until July 15th or 14th.
yes, and I don't know what your bed space is. You know, I know if Via Maria has a bed for you, that's going to be your probation officer that can help navigate that for you. So
So if they can come get me as of tomorrow, then I can go to them, or do I have to wait till July 14th? Is what I'm asking.
You don't have to wait until July 14th, but you're going to need to talk with your probation officer because the jail could get a hold of Nogales and they could say, we're going to come get her, I don't know, on the 19th or the 20th. I don't know. And that's not up to me at this point. All I'm telling you is for now, this case in Pima County has essentially, you've been sentenced on it. So the jail would have notified Nogales. Whether they have 10 days, if that's your understanding, I don't have that information, but if that's your understanding and they don't come get you, then your probation officer should be able to arrange to get you to Villa Maria. If they do come get you, then obviously you're going to have to deal with the Nogales matter and just make sure you're staying in touch with your attorney or your probation officer if they do take you down there. The July 14th date is just to make sure that you're not still sitting in jail on this Nogales case. So by then, I expect you to be gone or something else to be done so you're not still in jail. And if you're not still here, then this date will mean nothing and it'll be vacated. But if you are still in custody, we'll see you back like we're doing today so we can try to get an update, figure out what's going on.
Okay, so if well, I guess it doesn't matter, but I'm just curious because my release date from Pima County Jail, if I don't have a bed, is July 19th. Would that still remain the same?
I don't know if that's what your sentencing judge.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's whatever's going on.
Okay, I'm just curious. Sorry.
Whatever's going on with the 45 days. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're all done, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Erickson, you're up. See?
Hey, sir, tell me your name.
Daniel Baldwin Erickson.
All right, you are here today on a charge of disorderly conduct. That's a misdemeanor offense. We also have to talk about some city court matters that you're here on today as well. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Can I ask you a question?
Hang on. And it looks like there's warrants out of Tucson City Court that involve domestic violence, assault, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. And there were 2 separate warrants out of City Court. Okay, what's your question?
What were the 2 separate warrants for?
That's what I just told you. Domestic violence, assault, and the other one is disorderly conduct and criminal damage, also domestic violence offenses.
And were those here in Tucson, Arizona, or?
Yeah, they're Tucson City Court cases. Looks like the incidents were from back in June of 2023.
Okay, and were they on in the U.S. or U.S. sub A? Which one?
They were here in Tucson.
I'm just making sure. That's all. I'm asking.
Okay. So, Mr. Erickson, if I release you on these charges today, you're going to have to promise to go to court. Will you do that?
Absolutely, of course.
I am going to. I'm going to release you today. Your next court date in justice court is going to be June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. When you get released today, you're going to get a copy of your court paperwork. It is going to give you the information I just gave you with the date and time of your hearing, along with the address and phone number for justice court. Your additional conditions of release: you are not to have any contact with the victim of this assault charge, and you are not allowed to return to the incident location where the assault happened. Do you understand all of those conditions of your release today on this new charge?
I do, yes.
All right. If you fail to appear for that hearing on June 23rd at 8:30, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand that consequence if you don't show up for that hearing?
Yes. I do.
So what, it's not clear?
Gotcha.
Because
Well, I just don't know which side, I guess, if on Pima County or if it's
This one's Pima County Justice Court. If you do this with the address, and you'll also get another picture of the public court that has the address. Okay.
All right, now we need to talk
Now-
about your Tucson City Court cases. Court.
Of the court. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure.
This matter taken care of?
Yes, I meant to, but I just, being homeless, it's hard to keep track. I just, missed the date.
Okay. So if I release you today, you're gonna make that effort to get to court, the next court date I give you, right?
Yes,
Okay. I will release you today. You're not to have any contact with the victims. Wherever the criminal trespass occurred, you're just not allowed to go back there. Do you understand those conditions?
yes, I do.
Your next court date is going to be June 23rd at 8:30 in the morning. That is going to be at Pima County Justice Court. You do have to appear at that date and time. If you don't, they're going to issue another warrant for you. And the likelihood is, Mr. Gonzalez, the next time they're going to impose that bond and you'll be held. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you indicated that with the homelessness that it was difficult. When you get released later today, there is a blue line on the ground. As soon as you walk out the door of the Pima County Jail where they're going to release you, there's going to be a blue line on the ground. If you follow that blue line, it's going to take you to the transition center. It's a big white trailer with a blue sign that's right there near the jail property. If you go into that trailer and talk to the navigators that are there, the people that work there, they may be able to assist you with transportation to your court hearing so that you don't miss it. So take your paperwork in.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, take your paperwork in and talk to them. They have a variety of services and connections that they may be able to help you make. So I would encourage you to stop there so that you can make sure you get to this court hearing and get this matter resolved so you don't find yourself back in jail again, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. That was very helpful.
Good. Have a good day.
And I will. I'll follow the blue line.
Follow the blue line. It's real easy. All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you're all done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, ma'am. Tell me your name.
And Heights.
Ms. Height, you were here today on charges of disorderly conduct and assault. These are misdemeanor offenses. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services in this case. They tell me a little bit about circumstances of the offense. If I release you today on this matter, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes.
It looks like your husband and your daughter are listed as the victims in this case. The input from them at this time is that you are not going to be able to return to that location. So do you have somewhere else that you can arrange to live if you get released today? Because you're not going to be allowed to go back there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with that, I am going to release you today on your promise to appear. For now, the additional orders, conditions of release are that you not commit any acts of domestic violence. You are not allowed to return to the incident location or have any contact with the victims in this case. And that's going to be at all for any reason until or unless a judge in the future changes that order. Do you need to return to the house to get any of your belongings?
Not at this time, though I can possibly arrange for that.
So
Could you
the
put
other,
her on the radio out of show if she needs it?
the other option that I have is I can check a box on your conditions of release that says you may return one time with a police escort to pick up your belongings. So when you get released later today, I'm checking that box on your order so that you'll have that option. What you would need to do is take the order to a nearby substation, police substation, or call 911, sit somewhere away from the house and let them know that you need to go collect belongings. They're used to dealing with this. They will go with you to the house and then you can go in and get whatever it is that you need. So that's an option for you if you can't arrange to get your things. But you are not to have any contact with your spouse at this time. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your next court date is going to be June 23rd at 10:30 in the morning, and that is going to be at Pima County Justice Court. You are required to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences if you fail to appear?
Yes.
All right, you're all done for today, Ms. Height.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Anderson.
Hi, tell me your name.
Regina Michelle Jamie Ayers.
Ms. Ayers, you were here today on a charge out of Tucson City Court for criminal damage. It is a domestic violence offense. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for me that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. It looks like your brother is the victim in this offense. He is not going to, or he does not want to have contact with you going forward. So if I release you on this offense today, Ms. Ayers, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes.
Your additional conditions of release will be that you not have any contact with your brother. You're not allowed to return to the incident location or anywhere near where he is living or working. Do you have the ability to reside somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need to return? Hang on, Mr. Bond. Do you need to return to the location to collect any of your belongings?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is check a box on your conditions of release that says you may return one time with law enforcement to get your things. You'll take a copy of the order that you're going to get when you get released today to a nearby police substation, or go somewhere away from the house and call 911 and let them know that you need to go get your belongings. They will go with you. Once you're there with the police, you can collect whatever it is that you may need to collect. Do you understand all of those conditions of release?
Yes.
Your next hearing in this matter is going to be July 14th at 9:30 in the morning at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Mayhew. Again, when you get released today, you're going to get a copy of the order. That's going to have your court date and time, as well as the address and information for Tucson City Court. Mr. Bond, I think, wrote down that date for you as well.
Perfect.
If you don't show up for that hearing, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. This is also the time for your arraignment on this matter. So I will tell you that I am entering a not guilty plea for you. You are presumed innocent. In addition to the warrant that they could issue for your arrest, if you don't show up for your court date, they could set future court dates, including a trial in your absence. If you get convicted at that trial and you can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also give up your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes.
You're all done for today.
Thank you.
Right.
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
David Rayburn.
Mr. Brainer, you are here today on city court charges of criminal trespass, 2 counts, and disorderly conduct, 2 counts. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is also the time for your arraignment in this matter. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. If I release you on this matter today, will you promise to show up at a court date that I give you in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I am going to release you today. The additional conditions of release are that you not return to the incident location. Wherever this occurred, don't go back there, and you're not allowed to have any contact with the victims. Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah, but what if I don't even know what I don't even know.
You can go to the Tucson City Court building and you can get a copy of the case materials, and it'll tell you where you're accused of trespassing. So that this judge is not necessarily going to have that information.
Okay.
So 741 East Smoot is where you're not allowed to return to. That's the address. So that's the place that you're not allowed to return to. Don't go anywhere near that address. All right. With that, sir, do you understand those conditions that you've been given today?
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Your next court date is going to be July 15th at 9 o'clock. That's going to be at Tucson City Court. You do have to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they could issue a warrant for your arrest. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence. They could set future hearings, including a trial in your absence. If you get convicted at that trial and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand all of those consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes.
You're all done for today.
Right.
I mean, Ms. Robbins, you are here today on some failures to appear, warrants out of Tucson City Court. Looks like some new charges involving criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and drug paraphernalia. We're also going to talk about a petition to revoke probation as well. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these matters. Anything you say can and will be used against you. This is the time for your arraignment on the new charges. You are presumed innocent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on your behalf. As to the probation matter, it looks like on June 7th of 2024, You were adjudged guilty of a disorderly conduct, failing to appear, criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia, and you were placed on probation for a year beginning June 7th of 2024. The petition to revoke your probation says that there is reasonable cause to believe that you violated your conditions of probation because you failed to complete a CSM intake and you failed to complete substance and alcohol evaluation and treatment. I am entering, again, denials on the allegations in this petition for you today. We're going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you on all of these matters. We are going to set a video review hearing for you on June 20th at 1:45. I am going to impose a bond today, ma'am, of $2,000. That's going to be cash or secured. The video review hearing, if you remain in custody, the jail will put you in front of a video just like they're doing today so that you can see Judge Hale. If you do post your bond and get released, your next court date is going to be July 17th at 9 o'clock in front of Judge Hale on all of these matters, and you do have to appear at that time. If you fail to appear, they're going to issue another warrant for you, Ms. Robbins. On your new matters, they could also go forward in your absence and set future hearings in your absence that include a trial. If they set a trial and you're convicted and you can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could also lose your right to an appeal. Do you understand the conditions that I've imposed today?
Yeah.
And do you understand the consequences if you don't show up to court? Okay, you're all done for today, ma'am.
That's for you also.
Pull it up.
Right, yes. Thank you.
Hi, sir, tell me your name.
Luis Pulido Gustavo.
Sir, you were here today on felony charges involving possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. We also have a shoplifting matter that we're going to talk about and some matters out of Tucson City Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney on this matter. Today, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on the felony charges. And you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review some information provided by pretrial services. They prepare a report for the court that tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. Based on the nature of the drug charges, Mr. Sepulveda, you may be eligible to participate in what we call the STEPS program. It's a substance abuse treatment court program that if you want substance abuse treatment and you agree to participate, if you successfully complete that program, the state would not go forward with these felony drug charges. Are you interested in doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I am going to give you a hearing date of June 19th at 9 a.m. for that substance abuse treatment court. You do have to go to that hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release on this matter in just a second. But that hearing is one that you must go to. If you get released, you have to show up on the 3rd floor of Superior Court with Judge Hampson. If you don't show up at that date and time, then they're going to go forward with these felony charges. So if you want that chance to participate in this program, you need to make sure that you show up. Do you understand that?
Yes, I will show up.
Okay. Mr. Poston, I did note that you had a $5,000 bond request on this case. Did you want to be heard?
Your Honor, yes, he has 7 priors, including FTAs, multiple FTAs, and is a 6 out of 6 twice over. Yes, steps is a good idea here. Problem here is we have concerns about his danger, his imposing danger to the community and failing to appear.
Mr. Bond, I was inclined to impose a $1,000 cash or secured bond. I am concerned given the failures to appear for court hearings.
And Your Honor, I might ask for something even less than that. The underlying offenses in this case involved no violence. It was simple shoplifting. And that he was found to be in possession of some drugs and paraphernalia allegedly. So I would request a bond amount in the $500 range if the court is going to impose a bond.
I am going to impose a bond today. I will impose the $500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, Mr. Sepulveda, then you'll be released to pretrial services. If you stay in custody, the jail will transport you for your hearing next week on June 19th. You have to participate in any monitoring or treatment pretrial tells you to. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol. Obviously, you can't have any illegal drugs and you can't have any firearms while this case is going on. Do you understand all of those conditions? All right. Your next hearing date after the one on June 19th is going to be June 23rd at 1:30. That's a preliminary hearing date. That hearing may or may not occur, but you have to appear at all of your future court dates. If you don't, they can issue a warrant for you. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now we need to talk about your misdemeanor shoplifting charges. You do have the right to remain silent on those as well. I am going to release you on the city court cases. We're going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. Your next hearing is going to be August 8th at 9 a.m. And that's something called a non-transport review hearing. By then, you should be out of custody. So you do need to appear at Tucson City Court on that date and time.
Okay.
Your conditions of release for that case, Mr. Sepulveda, you're not allowed to return to the incident location where the shoplifting occurred. Don't go back there. That's where the victims are and you can't be there. Do you understand that?
I understand.
And then if you fail to appear for your hearing in city court on August 8th, they could issue a warrant for you. They could also go forward with that hearing in your absence and set future hearings. If they set future hearings, they could put a trial as one of those future hearings. And if you get convicted and can't be sentenced within 90 days, you could lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand that as well?
Yes.
And I am entering not guilty pleas on your new matters. You are presumed innocent on those. All right, Mr. Sepulveda, you're all done for today, sir.
I've been released, yes or no?
Not today,
That's right. I knew that was gonna happen.
but if you go to the.
It's okay. I'm not gonna have to go to these. I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, and they'll take you to that hearing on the 19th and you enroll in that drug and diversion steps program. You'll get released that day.
That's not gonna happen. That's a lie. These are lies.
Okay. Your fault.
I'll be done here, guys. First.
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
It's Aiden Bermud.
Mr. Bermud, you are here today on a couple of different matters. The first is a felony matter involving aggravated DUI and endangerment. The other is going to be out of Marana Police Department for driving on a suspended license. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. On the felony matters, you do have the right to an attorney. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today. I've had an opportunity to review information provided by pretrial services. That tells me a little bit about you as well as the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They're asking for a $5,000 cash or secured bond and release to pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Bond, I am inclined to release him to pretrial services to participate in alcohol monitoring and treatment.
That would have been my request, Your Honor, and I would certainly agree.
So, Mr. Bermud, I am going to release you today to the custody of pretrial services. You must stay in contact with that agency. This is an alcohol-related offense. You're going to be required to participate in whatever monitoring or treatment they require of you. You will be required to do alcohol testing, and you have to comply with that. You are not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while this case is going on. You're also not allowed to have any firearms while this case is going on. The endangerment charge, you're not allowed to have any contact with the victim of the endangerment charge.
I think the endangerment may have just been general motoring public type issues, Your Honor. I'm not sure there is a specified
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
endangerment victim.
Right. I don't see a specific victim that is named. That is one of the things in pretrial services. To the extent that any of those people become known to you, you're not going to be able to have any contact with them today. I don't know who those people are. So I am going to say no contact with the victims, and that will apply to the extent that you are made aware of who that someone may be. Do you understand those conditions of release, Mr. Bermud?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your next court date is going to be July 2nd. That is a preliminary hearing. That court date may or may not occur, but you're going to be expected to show up for all future court dates. And if you fail to appear, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Because you're going to be out of custody, it's going to be important that you stay in contact with your attorney in case that date changes. Because if you do not show up when you're supposed to, they'll issue a warrant for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
We now need to talk about your Marana City Court case. And those are the misdemeanors, driving on a suspended license. It also looks like there's a speeding criminal charge associated with that. I am going to release you on that case as well. Your next court date is going to be July 23rd at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's going to be in Marana City Court. You do have to appear at that date and time. If you fail to appear, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. You are not allowed to drive without a valid license. You do not have a valid license. You should not be behind the wheel of any vehicle. Do you understand that condition of release?
Yes, Your Honor.
And your court date on July 23rd, same thing. If you don't show up, they can issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand those consequences?
Yes, I do.
You're all done for today.
You're gonna go out today, you're gonna call pretrial services. So it's your first call. You call my office tomorrow or maybe even Monday, because we got to assign the case in the office, but you're gonna call them today or first thing. It's the outlet. Okay. Okay. Good luck. Sir.
All the way.
Hi, sir. Tell me your name.
Sean Gay.
Mr. Gay, you are here today on a charge of unlawfully discharging a firearm within city limits. It is a felony. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to an attorney in this matter. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you today. Had a chance to review some information provided by pretrial services. Tells me a little bit about you and also the circumstances of the offense. I've also had a chance to review the state's recommendation. They're asking for a $7,500 bond. Do you want to be heard further, Mr. Poston?
No, Your Honor.
So I am inclined to release Mr. Gay to pretrial services and refer him to the transition center. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Bond?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Judge. I would actually request a release on promise to appear. Mr. Gay has no prior felony arrest history. He was, as I read the interim, essentially target shooting here. There was no, the gun was not being used in any secondary criminal activity, anything like that. He advises me that the police did confiscate his rifle and still have it at this time. So any danger that potentially posed to the public is mitigated at the moment. So I would ask he be released, OR today.
I am going to release you to pretrial, sir. You're just going to have to stay in contact with that agency. Whenever they ask you to call in and check in with them, that's what you're going to need to do. You are not going to be allowed to have any firearms. If you have any other firearms other than the one law enforcement took, you do need to surrender them while this case is going on and until it's resolved. Do you understand that condition of release? All right. And then do you have, it looks like you have an address on Broadway. Are you housed right now, sir?
No, ma'am, that's my mailing address.
Okay. So what I'll do today, we're going to set your future court date, and that's going to be July 2nd, since you'll be released on this matter. And that will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. That's a preliminary hearing. That date may or may not occur, but you do have to appear at all future court dates or they could issue a warrant for your arrest. Because you're going to be out of custody, it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney so that you know when your court dates are. Do you understand the consequences if you don't show up for court?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. There is something called the transition center that's right there off of the jail property. They can assist people with housing, other services, including transportation sometimes to get to court. I would encourage you to stop by there when you get released today and see if there's anything that they may be able to assist you with. That's not an order, it's just an option for you. When you do get released, when you walk out of the door that they're going to release you at, there's a blue line on the ground. If you just follow that blue line, it's going to take you right to that transition center.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, you're all done for today.
What's the name of the, what does that have to stay in contact with? Oh, your pretrial services, and that's their phone number right here. Okay. That's your first call. You get out, you call them first thing tomorrow, if you get out late today. This is a number from my office, public defenders, that's where your lawyer's gonna be. They're your second call. Call them tomorrow or maybe even Monday, because we're gonna need a day to assign it within the office. Okay. And then there's your next court date. Your lawyer will tell you whether you need to be at that court date or what's gonna happen. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good luck.
Have a good day, sir.
Listen. Just go all the way out. See what means.
Hi, tell me your name.
Jose Paz.
Mr. Paz, you are here on multiple matters here today. It looks like we have a couple of felony matters. And then there's some warrants that we need to deal with. Both at Justice Court, and then it looks like there's something out of Sierra Vista Justice Court as well. You do have, hang on. You do have the right to remain silent on all of these matters. The drug charges that you are here for today on the felony matters involve possession of narcotic drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. For that matter, I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you do have counsel seated with you for purposes of the hearing here today.
Your Honor, those would look like steps eligible offenses, but I did not see the pretrial services have necessarily flagged them.
They did not. He is on release, I know, for another case. It looks like the state's asking for a $5,000 bond in lieu of that. He is going to get a bond on this case because he's being held on the other Superior Court matter. Mr. Poston, do you have any issue if I do refer him to steps?
None at all, Your Honor.
All right. So based on the nature of these offenses,
I'm sorry?
based on the nature of these offenses, because they're drug possession charges, you may be eligible to participate in a pre-indictment diversion program. If you want to participate in substance abuse treatment and you qualify for that program, I'll give you a court date next week. You'll get transported to that hearing. It'll be in front of Judge Hampson. At that hearing will be your attorney from the public defender's office. Pretrial services will be there, and also substance abuse treatment providers from our community. You can take a look at the contract, and if you want to participate and then successfully complete that program, the state would not go forward with these felony charges. Would you like to see if you're eligible to participate in that program?
Please, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to set a steps hearing for you, and that's going to be June 19th at 9 o'clock in the morning. And again, if you're in custody, the jail will transport you to Judge Hampson's courtroom, and you'll have an opportunity to meet with all of those people there at that time. Given everything that's going on, I am inclined to the case of $1,000 cash or secured. Mr. Poston, did you want to be heard on that at all?
Your Honor.
Mr. Bond?
Your Honor, without bond on one of the other matters, so I would have no argument with $1,000 bond here.
So Mr. Paz, for these drug charges, you're going to be held on a $1,000 cash or secured bond. If you do post that bond, then you'd be released to pretrial. You're going to have to stay in contact with them. You will anyway as part of the STEPS program. You have to participate in any monitoring or treatment they direct. You're not allowed to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you can't have any guns. Do you understand all of those conditions of release for this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I do.
Your next hearing after that June 19th date is going to be a preliminary hearing on June 23rd at 1:30 in the afternoon. That hearing may or may not occur, but you do have to show up at all your court hearings. If you don't, they can issue a warrant for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And staying in contact with your attorney and determining what happens with that STEPS program will also help decide if that's. All right, the next matter we need to talk about is the warrant out of Sierra Vista Justice Court for dangerous drug possession and drug paraphernalia. The warrant in that matter is $2,500. I am going to impose that $2,500 cash or secured bond on that warrant. Looks like the warrant issued December 18th of 2024. Oh, and actually that's not those charges. That's something else. I don't know what the charges are for your Sierra Vista case.
I wasn't even living in Sierra Vista at that time.
And the judge does.
So, and I think what Mr. Bond is telling you, I don't have any information. What I have is the warrant. So that's the information I have today.
Right.
Okay, it sounds like you've got a bunch of other things going on. So I know you also have the Pima County Superior Court case at CR 2024-1062. That matter you're going to have to be seen on. That's essentially you're being held until you see the judge in that matter. That may be me. I don't know. Do you know when you have a court date?
As far as I knew, all my court dates were done. I didn't even know I had a warrant.
Okay. Well, you've got a warrant for that case. So you'll be seen by a Superior Court judge sometime, I would guess, in the next couple of days so that you can figure out what's going on with that case. But that's the one that is primarily holding you. You are going to have the $2,500 bond out of Sierra Vista and then the $1,000 bond on that new case. If you're eligible for steps, the judge on that new case will have an opportunity to review that information with you. All right, so that's the Sierra Vista case. And
Did you ever set a court date on that one, Your Honor?
That's what I'm about to do.
Sorry.
July 14th at 9 o'clock is going to be what we call a review hearing for that case out of Sierra Vista. And that's if you're still in custody here, we want to make sure we're keeping track of you in that Sierra Vista case. So that's just going to be a review hearing. You'll appear just like you're doing here today, and it will be for the purpose of figuring out what's going on with that matter. All right, now we need to talk about another matter out of Pima County Justice Court, and that is a warrant that was issued for offenses that occurred back in 2023 for domestic violence assault and criminal damage. It looks like you failed to appear on those matters. There is a $500 bond in that case. I am going to impose that bond, $500 cash or secured. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you at Justice Court on that matter. And that is going to be,
This new attorney will tell you what's going on. It's you're shaking. Okay.
that is going to be Robin Ald. So I'm going to appoint Mr. Ald to represent you on this matter. Your next court date in Justice Court, so you can figure out what's going on, is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. If you're still in custody, the jail will have you appear via video for that hearing. Mr. Ald should be in touch with you so you can figure out what's going on with that matter. Don't commit any acts of domestic violence if you do get released on that one. And then finally, sir, we need to talk about the remaining matter, which is a criminal trespass warrant. Since we do have Mr. Ald appointed, I'm going to appoint him to represent you on that matter as well, so these cases can track together. And
I was just trying to find the trespassing. I was just trying to find a place to get out of the way.
Well, then you may have a big disaster. Just go to talk to you about.
bond on that case is also $500 cash or secured. I will have that be a concurrent bond for both of those cases. So your total Justice Court cases will be $500 total for both of those matters. And your court date again will be tomorrow, June 13th at 1 o'clock. And that will be the Justice Court case for the criminal trespass. So both your matters will actually be heard tomorrow at 1. And you'll still be in custody by then, so they'll have you appear via video. If you do post your bond and get released, I think Mr. Bond wrote down all your court dates for you. If you get released, you're going to get your paperwork that will have your court dates. You are required to appear at all of your court dates. If you fail to appear, they can issue a warrant for you. Do you understand that, Mr. Paz?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're all done for today, sir.
There's kind of a mistake they used to. These lawyers, they start getting intentionally as they get notified. Okay. All right.
All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you so much. Have
That's
a
it.
wonderful day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge. Take care.
You too, Mr. Bond.